Okay, you're good to go.
Okay, well, first of all, everybody just keep sharing this with your team members. Take a picture, video, show our family. This is like my favorite time of the week because I'm lame with no shame, and our virtual meetings are my favorite. So everybody share it. Congratulations, by the way, to everybody that is killing it right now. I feel like we're popping ranks left and right, and GOAT, and leadership retreat. So, and to those that even screenshotted and put it into the chat, I just want you to know that your presence is literally already winning the battle. So, congratulations, everyone. I honestly, mental chatter. So, the point of this, I'm not just talking about in the business. Also, mute yourselves as soon as you come on. I don't know how to do that, but I am not talking about mental chatter even with just the business, but parenthood, food, weight, friends, family, loneliness, disease, everything, because literally we are our business. So everything kind of comes out in it. So that voice that holds that shadow over your life, that shadow that sometimes engulfs us to a point where we don't even know any different. I wish for so many people that come into my inbox on a daily basis that I could give them my perspective on their situation and help them see how it's not just a speed or not just a brick wall, but like a speed bump. But you can't, unfortunately, you cannot do that for people. They have to find a way to break that wall down themselves. They have to find a way to shatter that glass themselves. So my hope with this Zoom is that everything that goes on between your beautiful ears in that wonderful brain of yours kind of gets normalized with every single person that's about to speak. And I don't even know how many people are on here, but I just want y'all to take a second and realize there are probably going to be hundreds of people. Can you imagine a company being like, can you show up on a Wednesday night? We're not going to like pay you for anything that night, but I need you to show up for this training. Everyone would say no. I would say no because I ran an office. I was an operations manager. I'd be like, middle finger, gonna have my life. So I just want you to know how incredible it is that you're a part of this. So our brain doesn't know, like Katie, you've talked about a lot, the brain doesn't know what's real, what's not, right? So when we feed it, and this sounds like you're a psychopath, I feel like I'm crazy, but you kind of have to be a little crazy to reach the top, right? Like you have to have a mindset that kind of is strange to people and you feel like a psychopath, but when you feed it like the positives of what you do have in front of you and you feed it your vision and you feed it those things that you do have instead of the negative talk, that's winning the battle every single day in every part of life. Like not just the business, but every area of your life. So it literally compounds into your mindset muscle. So tonight I asked all these incredible women to come together, tell their backstory, tell their mental chatter of what goes on a daily basis in their life, how they overcome it, how maybe that chatter has changed, right? Because from day 2, because let me tell you, in day 2, you will have mental chatter. Even day 1, right? Someone says one thing and you're like, oh, shit, I'm done. Like, we all out. And so the difference between that and then 2 years later and how they overcome it daily and how maybe their practices changed, I just wanted to ask all these incredible women like what they do. And so I'm going to try to keep a timer of 5 to 10 minutes because I know that we could stay on here for the rest of the night. But we're going to start with Amber. Brielle is going to take it from Amber. You know, Jen's going to take it from Brielle, so on and so forth, and then I'll wrap it up at the end, okay?
Okay, am I unmuted?
Yes, I unmuted you.
Yes. Okay. So, all right, so I took notes because I am a little, like my type A personality came out a little bit. Whenever you asked me to come on this, I was like, oh, okay, but I'll do it. Because for those of you that don't know me, my name is Amber, and I'm a 4K leader, and it took me 18 months to get here. And the reason why is because of this topic right here. And so I had a lot to write down. I've had a lot of stuff that I have battled, and I'm just gonna kind of spill the tea for you guys and kind of what I went through, because it took me 18 months to go 4K, but I'm okay with that because it has made me so strong in this aspect so that I can then in return teach you guys, and I can teach my team as well, if that makes sense. So the number one thing I wanted to start out with, when you're talking about limiting beliefs, when you're talking about what you truly believe for yourself, what you are capable of, I want to talk about this analogy that has stuck with me since day one. And a lot of this came from listening to podcasts, a lot of the aha moments that I've had. But the number one thing that has stuck with me to this day is the thermostat analogy. And what that thermostat analogy is that your limiting beliefs, what you think that you're capable of, what you think to be true for yourself, is what is going to dictate the actions that you take in your business. And in return, that is going to dictate the results that you're seeing for your business or you are not seeing for your business. And so if you think of that internal belief, that internal thermostat that you have, think of it like a thermostat for your home, right? You've got it set at like 70 degrees, right? If it gets too cold, it's going to kick on and it's going to heat up the room. If it gets too hot, it's going to kick on and it's going to cool it back down. It's not the external factors. It's not that someone opened up the door. It's not that someone opened up the window. It's that internal thermostat that gets that room back to that temperature, if that makes sense. And so that what you truly believe for yourself is what is going to dictate the actions that you take, and it's going to dictate in return the results that you have for your business. So that is the number one takeaway that I've had. I was just like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. But those limiting beliefs I had from day one, probably way before day one. Let's just be honest. Like my whole life I've dealt with like worrying about what people think about me. I came into network marketing. This is my very first experience with network marketing. I joined June 1st of 2018, and I had limiting beliefs from the get-go. I was always super skeptical. I was turned off. I was like, I am never going to do this. I am not a salesperson. I don't have a social media following. I had probably, I don't even know if I had 100 Facebook friends, and I had one post on Instagram. I did not know how to use Instagram. I had one post and it was of my cats. Okay. So I did not have a social media following. I had never done this before. So there's all those limiting beliefs that were in my head already. And that is what led me to be, and I'm just going to be brutally honest with you, for the first year, I'd say, it took me to overcome all this BS. And I didn't actually, that light bulb didn't turn on for me for like a year. And that first year, I was what I heard, if you've never heard Your Virtual Upline, it's a podcast by Bob Heilig. And one thing that he talks about is being a network marketing secret agent. Okay. That's what I was for the first year of my business. And what that means is because of all these negative beliefs that you have, these limiting beliefs of, I don't have a following, and I don't know how to talk to people, and nobody's gonna want to listen to me, and I've never done this before, and like all this stuff. Because of that, you don't show up to run your business. You show up and you get ready to run your business. You hop on the Zooms and you try to read the books and you show up for all the training calls, and you have this business that you started, but nobody knows because you're too scared to talk about it. That was me for my whole first year. And the reason why I'm telling you this is so that you don't waste a year getting that light bulb to turn on. Because that has been the biggest thing that has held me back, is this limiting belief thing. Before I joined, I never, like, put network marketing aside for a minute. I never had this like ambition to go be a business owner, right? And so I was the typical like girl falls in love with product, girl talks about product, right? So like I could enroll some customers, but when it came to talking about the business, I was like, who's gonna listen to me? Like, I don't have any success. I don't have the car bonus. I never hit my VIPs. Like, who's gonna listen to me, right? And so I had to go through this transition of realizing that I am a business owner. Whether I like it or not, I am a business owner, and you have to start treating what you're doing like an actual business. And that comes with the way that you're talking to people. With, are you showing up and you're calling it a side biz? Are you calling it a side hustle or a little part-time thing? And whenever you are relaying your message like that to people that you're talking to about the business, that's what they're going to believe. They're going to believe what you're telling them. So if you're calling it a side hustle or a side thing or a little part-time thing, if you're downplaying what you do because you're scared of what people are going to think about you, that's all that they're going to think. And you have to be honest with yourself and think, do you really believe that to be true? Do you really believe that all you have to offer people is a side business? And I was just like, oh man, no, girl, like I got so much more to offer. And it's when I started changing the way I thought about what it was that I was doing. I would wear my DFTs to work, and I would wear them in an obvious area because I was trying to prepare myself for talking about it, right? These people I've worked with for years, they know me like the back of their hand. But when they would come up to me and they'd be like, what is that on your arm? Oh my God, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. I would just be like there was an automatic wall that I hit because I was like, they're judging me. And so like I would downplay what it was or what it was that I was doing because I was fearful for what they were really thinking about me, if that makes sense. And in return, like they probably thought even less because I'm sitting here going, like, I'm just terrified to even talk about it. But you can't let those thoughts, like if you haven't hit your VIP or you haven't hit 4K yet, or you feel like you have nothing to show yet, that doesn't keep you from showing up for other people, from introducing this opportunity to them. And you have to think about it like you are not sharing, like you're not selling them the opportunity, you're sharing a solution to their problem. You're sharing a solution to the mama that wants to come home to her babies. You're sharing the solution to the person who's never had a savings account. You have to start getting into that mindset instead of, well, I'm not there yet. So like, who's going to believe me? And like, cause that's going to keep you from even showing up in the first place. You're going to think about before you go live, you're going to say, who really wants to listen to me? Nobody's going to want to listen to me. I don't have anything to say. That's going to keep you from going live in the first place. And it's going to keep you from having those results. So you've got to check your thermostat. Number one. Number two, I talked about in my notes here, I put the price of greatness is responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your efforts and most importantly, your mindset. And I put an analogy in here about a garden because you can't, like if you think about your business as a garden, you can't grow flowers without pulling the weeds. You can't go out and pull weeds only once a month. You have to consistently keep up with those weeds. You have to consistently water your flowers or they'll die. You have to make sure that they're getting the sunlight, right? That's like us being close to this team, staying close to the fire. You have to treat your business like a garden and make sure that you're pulling the weeds. And this is an evolving process, which is why I think it's super cool that we're hearing from 4K leaders, 12K leaders, all these leaders, because this is never going to be a problem that's going to disappear. It's going to be ever changing. Like you're just going to have to grow through it. And I think it's amazing that we can all kind of speak from our own experience. But the last thing I'm going to leave you with is just embracing leadership, because it's a process and you cannot find, like, you're not going to be able to podcast your way into good leadership. You're not going to be able to just read a book and say, okay, well, when I hit 4K, then I'm going to feel like a leader. Or when I do this, then it's all going to feel better for me. It's not going to. It's going to feel messy. It's going to feel like your palms are going to be sweaty, right? It's going to feel messy, and you cannot be afraid to have a crappy first draft. Like people's first books, was it like Rachel Hollis's book? It was like her, The Girl Wash Your Face. Wasn't that like her third or fourth book or something? Like it wasn't her first draft. You have to be okay to have a sucky first draft. You have to. You just have to go. You have to fail forward. You have to stand back up, like Brielle says all the time. But at the end, I want to leave you with these. Number 1, check your thermostat. 2, don't be a secret agent. No posting and praying. That's literally what I did for a year. I would post and hope that someone saw it. I would post a Pinterest quote and hope that it was going to change somebody's life. I would not add to my network. Like, I was not doing any income producing activities. I was just hoping and praying. And when my warm market ran out, I was like, what do I do? And there I was a year later, and I was eventually like, Amber, you've got to get a grip, because it's you that's the problem. And it's you that is going to be the one to turn it around. Because otherwise you're going to have to go back to your 12-hour shifts as a nurse. And you're going to go back to being exhausted, and you're going to go back to spending nights and weekends and holidays and on call away from your family. Or you can turn it around for yourself. And so you have to take that responsibility for yourself. You're not an imposter as much as you think that you are. You are not an imposter. Like I said before, just because you didn't hit your VIPs, you didn't hit a rank, you don't have a car bonus to show for it yet, that doesn't mean that you can't take somebody along your journey with you, that you can't paint the picture of where this is going to take you. Own your own BS. You can't own a business if you can't even own your own BS. I wrote there. That's powerful. You have to be okay with a sucky first draft. And the last thing that I wrote on here is never let your story expire. So if you think about that in relation to consistency think about your Instagram stories, right? Like, you probably, I don't know, this might just be me, like type A. When I get down to like 5 of those little hash marks, I'm starting to get nervous. I'm like, ooh, like I need to put some stuff up here, because it's like I'm about to fall off the end of the earth here, right? Don't let your story expire. Stay consistent on your platforms. Stay consistent and share value to other people. It doesn't always have to be about the products or the business. Share your life. Like we've said in so many trainings before, those 5 things. Never let your story expire, and stay consistent. So I'm going to pass it off to Brielle from here. I hope that helps.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Am I good? I just want to make sure. You guys, could someone give me a thumbs up? I don't know. Okay, yay, awesome. Can she just do this whole Zoom, because like I'm just sitting here crying. It's fine. That was so freaking powerful and so freaking amazing. Okay, I'm gonna start my timer for my own personal self. Hi, hello. I'm Brielle. If you guys don't know, I'm a 12K leader, which is still really crazy to say, and I've been a 12K leader since October, but it's so weird. So some of you obviously might know my story, so I don't really want to get into that, but I really do want to focus on the mental chatter that's been in my brain, because I've still had a lot of it, and it's going to be like a little bit of a therapy session. So like stay with me here, but I just want to be really, really real with you, because I get so many messages from people like, I love your story. It's so inspiring. And you pour your hearts out to me, and you tell me your stories and how long you've been in it, and how, you watched my Zooms, or you watched my lives, or something like that. And you're like, I'm going to keep going. Like I am so inspired by you. Right. And so I'm like, I just want to be really real with you guys, that is inspired as you are by me, and as much as you might look up to me or whatever it is, like, y'all, I got struggles and new levels. And I've said this before, new levels bring a whole new thing of devils, of insecurities that you didn't think you were going to deal with, because you think, okay, yes, I'm 12K, like, woohoo, like, let's go, auto bonus, got my free trips, I got all these things, right? And then it's like, something happens, whether it's with life, whether it's with your business, that just like, you're like, whoa, that wasn't in a Zoom. Like, hold on. So that's why I'm actually really like glad that we're really touching on this, because I think we think, oh my gosh, my biggest battle is just overcoming my people pleasing. Okay, well, once I get past the fact of letting my insecurities down, that I can go and post without worrying about what other people think, then I've really made it, right? And that's good. It's good to conquer those demons. It's good to be able to go and make a post and feel confident. It's good to take a full body picture of yourself and be like, yes, queen, like I'm feeling it. It's good to conquer those things, because when I started this, I would read into things. And I don't know if you're someone that you do this, like you read into things. Like no one told you they even hate you. No one told you they don't support you. No one said that. But like, some girl just didn't comment on your post and you're like, oh my gosh, she doesn't support me. Oh my goodness, she commented on her post, but she's not posting love on my post. Like, things like that. That's what things that I started when I was about, I think like a month. And I think I was so zoned on my VIPs and 4K, like nothing else really mattered. And isn't that funny? Like when I started, I didn't have a lot of insecurities because I was so in my blinders and like my goals and changing my life. And I did that. And then all of a sudden those blinders somehow got lifted off. And then I started worrying about stuff that that wasn't even a thing. Like I didn't even know these people when I started, right? Like I didn't even know some of my side sisters when I started. Why am I now worrying and stressing because they didn't comment on my post? Why am I worrying because my upline hasn't messaged me back in 5 hours? Why am I getting stressed out about these things, right? Like why does that matter? That's not why I started this. Why does it matter right now that that girl who's been in for 5 seconds went 12K? Why does that matter? I didn't even know what 12K was when I started. All I knew is I wanted to change my life, right? I wanted to get some income, period. Right? When you started this, you didn't know about trackers. You didn't know about ranks. You didn't know about any of that stuff. You just knew, I want to change my life and I want to help others change their life and I want to make an income. And it's all that other stuff, all those other blurbs and bubbles that are getting in your way, that the mental chatter that we're talking about, right? I would zone in on it. Like if someone said something to me, even if there was a negative conversation, something that happened, I would focus on it so much. Like I would repeat the conversation in my head over and over and over and over and over, like on repeat. Why? Like the conversation's over, right? That horrible conversation that I had with that person is over. Why am I allowing that to well, it kind of infected, but affect my entire day, right? Then I'm not inspired to post, right? Because I had this negative interaction, whether it was with my husband, whether it was with a friend, whether it was something within the business, right? So those were things that I struggled with. And then I felt like I couldn't share because I wasn't making it, right? When I was in it for like a year, and I'm like, I would literally say things like to myself, how embarrassing. I've been in this for a year and like, I'm still getting paychecks that are like $12. Like that would be what I would say to myself. Yeah. Instead of just talking about like what Amber was just saying, guys, this isn't about sharing the glitz and the glam. It's about sharing opportunity. It's about sharing what is possible, what can be possible with this, right? And like Amber was saying, like when you just focus on that, like I'm sharing opportunity, period. I'm sharing my journey. It's my story. It's my timeline. It's my timing, and owning that, like that's when freaking magic happens. But still, like, so since kind of like hitting 12K, a lot of things that has happened is me putting pressure on myself. Okay, so next level is 40K, right? And I feel like I'm ready for that, right? There's like a lot of ways that I feel like, yes, like if it's meant to be, it'll be. But you know what? I know I've worked on my growth enough that if it doesn't happen like this month or next month, like it's okay, right? I'm okay. I'm still a good human. I'm still doing the dang thing. I'm still changing lives. I'm still helping other people. Just because my tracker doesn't say a certain amount doesn't mean I'm less than or more than another person, right? And that's what I've learned over that time. So I'm able to bounce back from things like, you know, not going to that next level. But what I put on, the pressure that I literally have been struggling with lately is putting pressure on myself, like, okay, I'm a 12K leader. Okay, people kind of are in my inbox now and they're watching my story, and I have a team. Like I got a team of people that are counting on me. Okay, like I can't mess up. I can't mess up. I can't have a bad day. I got to be on it all the time. I got to be focused. I got to be inspiring. I got to always be on it all the time. And then I had a run-in last week that I just got burnt out, because I kept feeling like whatever it is that's going on, push it down because I'm a leader, because I need to keep going. I need to keep pushing, and I need to be there for my girls, and I need to do this, I need to do that. And I put me to the side. I wasn't taking that time in the morning that I really need. So when the leadership tells you like you need to take time for yourself in the morning, so if you don't get back to your girls until 12 because you're handling some stuff in the morning, it's okay. And that's what I've had to tell myself lately, is like, you know what, I'm someone, and you just got to know yourself. I'm someone, I cannot pick up the phone. I got to get my time in the morning. I got to take care of my kids. I got to get my workout in, and then I'm really able to like pour, right? But if I just start going nonstop, I get burnt out. And the last thing that I really want to touch on is a thing that kind of has come up with me lately too, is like feeling like one day people are going to realize that I'm not so awesome, that I'm human. And this is really hard for me to open up about on a Zoom. But it's something that I've always struggled with. I've always struggled with when someone would like me or when someone would be friends with me, I would have this fear come over me when things were going really good with that relationship or that person. Like, when am I going to mess this up? Like, when is this person going to know that, like, I'm not that awesome. I'm not that perfect. I'm not, I have struggles. I say the wrong things sometimes, and sometimes I still get in my head and all those things. But the difference is what the whole thing from this is, those thoughts are going to come in your head. But, like last week I got overwhelmed, but you know what? I took my day. I put my phone down and touched my phone, and then I stood back up. I kept going. That's the difference. But the thing is that people start this and they get 6 months in, and then they have a really frustrating week, and then they just stop completely, and then they never get to see what could have been. And that's what breaks my heart so much. So my biggest thing with mental charter that I just wanted to let you guys know is, like, it's not about fully conquering it and just always having amazing, awesome days and you're always on fire and you're always just leading from the front and it's go, go, go. It's the fact that you are able to pick yourself up better. You're able to conquer it better. You're able to come up quicker, and you're even able to own your own freaking mistakes. And I'm going to start crying, darn it. And no, I'm not perfect, and it's okay. I don't have to be perfect all the time. I don't have to have it together all the time. And that's what's inspiring. It's inspiring for someone to not be so darn together all the time, but to see them still keep going despite that. That's what's freaking amazing. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Am I next? Oh, am I next?
Yeah, you go, girl. Thank you, Bria.
That was amazing. Holy cow. If you do not know me, I am Jen. I am one of your 40K leaders. I have been around since almost the very beginning. And when this whole conversation got brought up about the mindset chatter, I instantly went to comparison, because coming into this industry, and not that I flew through the ranks, not that it went faster than I expected it to, it basically went so quickly, and it took me along so fast that when I went 40K that first time, I was so not ready for it. And I'm going to say this real quick and hop into what I want to. I lost it all, you guys, and it took me 18 months, and I just now got that rank back. So don't think that if you can come in and you can fly through the ranks, that that's exactly what you want, and that's exactly what's going to bring you all of this joy that you all sit around hoping and wanting to receive. Because I'm here to tell you, like we've all said, you may think you're ready for this rank, but a lot of times we're not. Rank is just a rank. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing but a cute little badge on a picture that gets posted. That's all it means. I'm being 110% honest with you. But taking it back to comparison, that was my biggest thing, and it still is my biggest thing, honestly. We come in, and it's almost like the first thing you hear in one of these trainings when you're going through it is, don't compare yourself to someone else's story. Don't compare your journey to their journey, and yada, yada, yada. We say it 199 times. But it's like, I could preach it all day long, and I'm still going to sit back over here and be like, well, that so-and-so just did that in 8 hours. Like, what? How is that even possible? Like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And I'm so stuck in that comparison thing for that whole first year and a half that it crumpled everything I ever dreamed of. It took everything. I went from, it was almost like living a double life. You almost like feel like you need to show up online to be this person that you want, that because you want everybody to come to you. So you're going to put whatever out there, do whatever you can, put the prettiest picture out there, and everybody's going to come to you. But behind the scenes, that's not who you are. The problem is sometimes we expect that if we put this out there that it's just going to do everything else for us, and it's not. I almost got stuck in thinking that I was supposed to be up here. I was supposed to be portraying this image because that's what people wanted to see. People want to see the pretty pictures. They want to see the cute outfits. They want to see the not hot mess mom. And in reality, that's exactly who I was. You know, I was so stuck in this is me, this is me, this is me. But in reality, behind the scenes, at my house, behind closed doors, that was not who I was at all. And it killed everything, you guys. Like it was like living a double life. And I had to take a break. I literally left for 5 months last year in this industry, and I came back in January. And who I was then and who I am now in regards to the whole comparison thing is, you can't even let it come into you. You have to sit back and understand that, like, every single one of our stories, we've all come from somewhere. It doesn't matter. Some of us are moms, some of us aren't, some of us are wives, some of us aren't. We literally all have different stories. We all have different backgrounds, but the one thing that we all relate on is the comparison, is the mental issues within our self-doubt, in a sense. You know, it's got to be one of those things that you, like, again, you have to just sit there. I'm struggling to say this because it's like I'm almost reminding myself that, like, hey, that's exactly what you need to rehear too. And you need to literally just take a step back and be like, I'm supposed to be right where I'm supposed to be right now. For whatever reason, this is the season and this is what I need to get through. If it's hard right now, it's supposed to be hard. If you feel like you're buzzing, you're going, you're doing your shit, sorry for my language, then that's what you're doing right now. At some point in time, you work for that good season, you know? And because we have our hard seasons, we have our low seasons, we have our bad seasons, whatever it may be, but you've got to keep going. You're going to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad week. And remember why you started, go do what you do, go do your yoga and stuff, and then come back the next day ready to keep going. Do not continue to be in such self-doubt for days on end to where you just quit completely. Because I'm gonna sit here and tell you, from someone who did that, I sat back for those 5 months and I watched half of these girls on this training right now surpass the ranks, make crazy money, change all these lives. And you know what I sat back and did? I just watched, because I quit. I didn't take care of myself along this journey enough, because I was so consumed with this that I sat back and watched everybody else rise above. So when you have those dark times and those dark thoughts and those comparison and this and that, take a step back, literally be like, shut up. And like, next subject, like, you've got to stop. Again, just we're gonna say it, like, your story is not their story. We've just all come. I've been so close with the leaders on this team, and to know where they've all come from, to what we've all been through together, to where we are right now. If you all knew that, it would shut this thing down. It would literally be, I literally have no words for right now, because you have to understand, like, sitting here understanding that a lot of you are struggling with the self-doubt and all the things that are going on in your brain, and knowing that I was once there. I just need you all to know that you've got to keep going. You have to keep going to get on the other side of it. You have to keep going in order to rise above the struggles you're in right now, and this low season, or whatever path you're on. You've got to just hop over the speed bump, and you've got to keep going. If this one person, whether they're on the chat, the team, they're a sideline, whoever, if they're like one of those people that you feel intimidated by them, unfollow them. And that may sound rude, but don't put anything in your path that is gonna, make you steer aside. You need to be able to put your blinders on and go. Because if not, then all of those, why did she go that fast? Why did they do that? How did you just do that? You just joined yesterday and you're VIP 1600. Like, what? You've got to quit comparing, and that's my biggest thing. And I'll say it 110 times. It doesn't matter who you are, what rank you are, what you're doing. Every single one of us is compared us to the next. I look at 4Ks, 12Ks, VIP 800s, and I'm like, holy cannoli, how did you do that? And I've been in this almost 3 years now. There's 200Ks that are reaching to the other people. Rank does not matter. Why do we even have that? Why does it even matter? You know, like, why can it not just be like, we're all in this together, and it doesn't matter what we're bringing in, but all that matters is that we're changing lives. Why does it matter that they've changed 3 more lives than you did? All that matters is that you at least changed the one life. So take a step back, get your shit together, understand that we can have a bad day. You can have a bad thought, you can do it all, but do not let it overcome you. Do not let it stop you from running your business. Because I honestly sit back and I'm like, what if I didn't take those 5 months? I knew I needed to take those 5 months, and I'm thanking God that I did, because who knows where I would be at. But at the same time, I sit back and I'm like, what if I wouldn't stop? I honestly probably would still be going down that downward spiral. But I took that break, and I'm not saying go take off a year or whatever, take the time you need to take. But I took that break, and I came back in January as like 2K in volume, guys. I said 49,000K right now. Like, in, you know, you've got to come back or whatever, and you just got to go and only worry about you and the people around you. Not about the ones who are going past you, or the ones who aren't doing anything, or though you signed someone up and Sally Mae doesn't want to work her business. That's fine. You know, you want to work that business though. So I'm going to hop off here because I feel like we've all been talking for quite a while. But again, stop comparing yourself to everybody else. You've got to stop. Congratulate, put your blinders back on, and go. And that's what I'm going to leave it on.
I'm next, right? I'm next, right? So for me, I'm gonna speak real raw and honestly about like my struggles through this and my mental chatter, because I think sometimes people get intimidated by my consistency, and that consistency is something that I use as a crutch to numb from what is going on in here sometimes. And I had to learn to unplug. I had to learn to grow me inside instead of just working through it, if that makes sense. So I'm talking to my workaholics right now. I'm talking to the women that have that ambition, have that vision, and have that hard time have that hard time with their internal. Like Jen was saying, like, that's why I love Jen, because she speaks so honestly with what she's going through. But the thing about it is, we all go through so many different layers of what we could, if everyone knew every problem that we go through behind the scenes, we would all see that we're united, because we all go through very similar things. And so if I can help you understand the imposter syndrome, and understanding it is a real thing. And so a lot of us have these things where we look to the left or the right, or we look at people. Like me growing up in high school, I always had to perform in high school. I always had to perform to like fit in. I've always been an oddball. I've always been very blunt. I've always been hot mess express, and sometimes ditzy, and sometimes whatever. Like that's just me. And back in high school, I'd always try to fit in. I've always been that girl that I knew that is different. I'm just different sometimes. And so for me, learning to not try to fit in has been the hard thing. Learning to not numb from myself has been the hard thing. Learning to work through my crap and who I want to be in 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, and that character that it takes has been my hard things. I can, and I'm gonna, and I don't mean this like this, but like I went fast. There's been years though between my ranking. Like I hit 40K in 2018. I hit 80K in 2019. So, but the thing about you guys don't see behind the scenes, I've been red-legged probably like the last year and a half. My husband's side is way stronger, and I have no problem with saying that, because that time of, I never hit my 80K on my account. I hit it on Nick's account first. And the reason why I talk about this is because I want you to know most people quit from things like that. Most people are comparing themselves during those things. Most people give up. You're not most people. So if I can help you work through that part and help you understand it's a part of your message, whatever part you're going through, whatever layer you're going through, maybe it's not being read, like maybe you're comparing, maybe you're struggling with your internal, whatever it is, those are part of your message. And that's the one thing I think that sets my mindset apart, is that I hold that truth. I hold that truth because at the end of the day, we can grow and go and deal with everything that life throws us. But if you can find that one phrase in your mind that you can hold on to and speak over yourself in those hard times, like for me, I always say your mind has to arrive at the destination before your life ever will. And you know why I have to say that? Because Brittany wasn't nice inside in here sometimes. Brittany used to talk crap sometimes. Brittany used to be like, girl, really? Like, or like, I'm being honest, like, because at the end of the day, I had to call myself out on me. Because if I'm not being that leader, that woman, that person that I'm portraying, then I'm doing myself a disservice because I'm not digging up my roots. My roots are going to keep repeating until I start pulling them out. Just like weeds, they will keep growing and growing and growing until you just pull up the weed or the root of the weed. And the thing about it is, the moments that I've been faced with lately have been my leadership skills. Like, and I'm going to be honest with that because, and this is something like and like my accountability girls that I can like turn to and like trust with these things. No, because the thing about it is being a leader is not easy, you guys. It's not like it, but the thing about it is God has put these women in my life, and what is meant for you is meant for you. So if it wasn't for me to have this team or have these girls underneath me or have the people that are coming to your life or have this community that we have, then it wouldn't be yours. So those dreams, those desires, those things that are in your heart, guess what? Those are yours. You got to start leveling up in here so that you can attract that desire that's in here. So for me, I have such a big vision. And for me, it was not having a centered relationship with God. Me, it was, I was trying to keep up. Honestly, me, it was trying to compare, and and not that I'm like compare, because I'm me and I can embrace that part, but comparing someone else's social media or comparing a way that they maybe have friendships or comparing the way that they have that community or comparing the way that they whatever it may be, I was comparing maybe not into the business aspects, into some kind of other aspect. And so when I started dealing with this back in December, I would be like, I don't understand why, because I feel like I'm doing everything right. I feel like I'm like doing all the things that I should be doing. But deep down, if you dig past that surface level of perspective and you get a little bit deeper underneath your perspective and you start seeing those things you're avoiding within, those things are there for a reason, and you have to pull that root. And I can tell you guys, it's the most freeing thing in the world. Like when I could start embracing me and like just loving on myself extra, you know, not trying to keep up with everything that's going on, keeping your head down. Maybe you need to just keep your head down and God will work everything out for you, whatever you're going through. But the thing is, imposter syndrome is a thing. And if you feel like you're not worthy of the blessings that are coming to you, or maybe you're comparing, you're like, why would I deserve this? Why me? Or why? Maybe it's like don't feel like you could lead a team, or maybe you feel like you can't even maintain a volume rank. Whatever that imposter syndrome is telling you, that's a lie. And you got to understand that imposter syndrome is there for you to work through. So that thing that you're facing, that thing that you keep telling yourself that you're not capable of doing or able to do or worthy enough to do, or whatever it is, you are capable of it, and it's being presented to you so that you can face it. It's you're getting that obstacle so you can grow from it. I'm always trying to look at the positive before the negative, and it's not easy, you guys. Like my brain's been mush the last 3 days. I've literally been like going nonstop, but you have to learn to listen to your mind, like Jen was talking about, and unplug. The one thing I always remind myself is to unplug in moments, not for days. So like if you feel yourself needing to pour into yourself, listen to that. If you feel like you're growing through something right now, trust that, because there's a blessing on the other side of that mess. There's a breakthrough on the other side of that storm. Just like in like the world, think of a rainbow. A rainbow doesn't just pop up because it pops up after the storm. It pops up after it rains. It pops up after you go through something. It rained on my freaking wedding. That was not fun. And I wanted to throw a fit, but you know what? I had to just rock it. And my dress got ruined and I had to rock it. People would be, I'm just using this as a perspective because people would let that break them. You gotta just, and everyone's like, are you okay, Brittany? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna drink and I'm gonna, and that was just like the real thing. I'm like, I'm gonna drink on my wedding and I'm just gonna enjoy my day, because you gotta find the silver lining. You gotta find the joy. You gotta find the message. And that solution, that problem you're being presented with, that obstacle you're going through, the obstacle you're growing through, if you can just tell yourself, baby girl, to hang on, buckle up, put your big girl panties on. Because honestly, sometimes we just have a little thicker skin and just understand that you got to go through it to get to it. I promise you, everything is on the other side of perseverance. And you're always going to grow. You're never going to feel comfortable. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Truly. Like, that is the best tip I can give you, because you're going to transform each and every step of the way. Like Brielle always says, every level brings new doubles. So that's what I have for me. And I think Lynn's is next.
Hi. Okay, I'm next, right? Okay, cool. Hi guys. For anybody who does not know who I am, my name is Linz. And I'll just give a little bit of a background. And I'm going to kind of talk about some struggles that I have been through, because I've heard this more times than not, and I've seen it shown a little bit, that a lot of times when you see leaders on our team, 40K and above, 4K, 12K, whatever it may be, you kind of are like, wow, it's so easy. They make it look so easy, right? And I hear that all the time. They're like, how do you make it? How is it this easy for you? It's not. Part of the job and part of it, I share reel in me, but I still have my highlight reel, right? Like, you're not seeing every single thing all over social media. So I want everybody to remember that when you look at anybody's social media, it's a highlight reel, right? Like, we can be real and raw, but we're still private people. At the end of the day, like, I still have my privacy, and what I choose to put on social media and what I don't, that's that kind of connection. So that's just kind of what I wanted to say to start, is no matter what, do not feel that you ever are not allowed to have privacy. You're allowed to have privacy with your life, with your children, with your relationship. What you want to put on social media, keep it business, keep it you, but keep it so you still have your privacy. So I just kind of wanted to start it with that, because I hear a lot of all the time, they're like, wow, people know everything about you, but like, they don't. I still have my privacy. There's still a lot that people do not know about me, but I am still me. My weird, quirky, sailor mouth self. So I apologize if there are any kids on here. I don't have a filter, and I'm not trying to cuss. I'm learning to kind of hold it back, but if something slips, I apologize. So I joined in December of 2017. I'm pretty sure like M had just hit like 12, about to hit 40, or had just hit 40. I don't remember, but it was real soon into our team, like pre-team page soon. We did not have a team page. And I went fast. When I say I went fast, I mean, I hit all my VIPs, and then I went 4K in 4 days, 12K in 12 days, 40K in 1 month, 80K in my second full month. Like, I went fast, y'all. I ran, but then I sat. And I was so frustrated with myself. I was like, what the heck? Like, and the reason I was frustrated wasn't anything to do with me. It was because I was like, wow, I went so fast and now I'm letting everyone down. How am I not 200K? Like, I just went 80K this fast. Like, what the heck am I doing wrong? I'm doing all the same things. And I stayed 80 for a while. And then I kind of realized that and I coined the phrase, because I got so tired of everyone being like, when are you going to go 200? When are you going to go 200? That I coined the phrase, and I apologize if there are littles, fuck a rank. And I did trainings based around this, because I was like, you know what? I don't care if I'm not a 200K, I'm showing up as one. I don't care if my rank on my page says 200 or a badge, or if I have that sign that's sitting behind M that says 200K, I'm going to show up as one. So for the next year, I showed up as one. I had mental issues mental issues, like mental chatter, I'll say, not mental issues, but like, like going on my personal self. And wrong choice of words. I apologize. And I let the words in my head have different meaning than they should have. And this is something I talked about with my downline on Monday night. And I talked about that inner Karen. I know Katie calls it that. And so I'm going to keep it with that. My inner Karen, if there's anybody named Karen on here, I swear, disclaimer, not speaking about you. We love you. It's just the name. Because I know this is recorded. Swear it's not you. But anyway, so our inner Karen, for me, it was telling me I wasn't worthy. It was telling me, wow, you've been 80K for an entire year, right? And then I didn't maintain that month. So February of last year I found out I was pregnant. All my emotions, if you've ever been pregnant, you know, like it's all these emotions. And if you've never been pregnant, well, it's all these emotions. And it was just everything. And I let that, and I suffer from anxiety and depression just in general. So it was everything hitting me. And I was like, you're not worthy. You haven't hit 200K. Half of my team quit. I was like, what's wrong with me? Oh my gosh, I'm letting everybody down. Like all of these words I was hearing in my head, and my head would not turn off. And then I also was feeling oh my gosh, I'm going to give birth. Like and I was a nurse. So I used to take care of people for a living. And I was like, but I'm going to have to take care of this one and keep this one alive, like all the time, not like give charge report and be like, here, it's your turn, but like keep this one alive my entire life. Like oh my gosh, y'all, if you would have heard the words that went through my head. And I believed it. I sat for 2 months, barely maintaining 40. When I say barely, I believe in February, we brought in like 38K, which is still amazing. I don't want to like devalue that. That was amazing considering my mental state at the time and all the words that were going through my head. But I was an 80K leader. That's a big drop, right? And I wasn't maintaining. I wasn't even maintaining the rank right below me. That was a big drop. And that played a big mental, like just mind game on me. And I started to make the words in my head have different meanings than they should have. When I heard the words, I'm not worthy, or if I heard the words like, you can't do this, I started to not only believe them, but my actions showed it. I wasn't working my business. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't showing up daily. I think Em checked in on me once and she was like, are you still like here? Like what's going on? Cause I wasn't showing up. I hadn't been on a team Zoom in months. I hadn't done an opportunity event for myself in months. Nothing. I was failing myself in my own mind because of my lack of actions. So something that I want to tell you guys is words have meanings, but you supply those meanings. What you tell yourself in your head is what it's going to be. So we lie. We're not liars, but we lie to ourselves. And what we tell ourselves is exactly what we're going to believe because it's our mind. So when you tell yourself words, you supply those meanings by your actions or lack thereof. So February and March, I finally was like, February was rough. Then we went into March and March was rough, but not as rough. So we're like, rough less. And I was like, you know what? I can stay here, have a pity party, or I can do the girl that joined and went 4K in 4 days, 12K in 12 days. And I can run. I can do what I know what to do and show up for myself and be my own runner. And I don't mean like bye team, see you later. I mean linking arms and being in the trenches with my girls, linking arms, doing IPAs with my girls. That's when my IPA chat started. That's when those IPA trainings started. Because I was like, you know what? If we're doing this, we're all doing it together. Because if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. And we were doing it together. And so I changed that meaning in my mind and I changed it with my actions. And then our company launched an amazing bonus. And I remember the first year that they launched this bonus, if this doesn't tell you mindset, I texted Em and I was like, what the F? See, I'm working on my mouth. I was like, what the F? I don't even qualify for this. She's laughing because she knows it. I was like, this is so unfair. And it was a repeat bonus, which is for 80 and 200Ks because 80 and 200Ks do not get the same opportunities for bonuses as everybody else in the company. So when they do launch those very randomly, they are for 80 and 200 just because 80 and 200Ks work so hard through the year to help every other rank earn their bonuses. And at the time, as a 40K, I was like, she was so mad at Em, was so uncomfortable. I FaceTimed her and I was like, how dare thee? Like, this is so fucked up, like blah, blah, blah. And I was screaming and she was like, you want to call me back? Like, she was like, I don't know what to tell you. Right? Like, Em was like so uncomfortable. When they launched it the second time, I didn't think I could earn it, but I wasn't mad. Why wasn't I mad? Because I realized, you know what? If I didn't earn it, it was on me. If I didn't earn it, it wasn't because I wasn't worthy. It's just because it wasn't my time and that wasn't meant for me, right? I went from 38K in volume a month as an 80K leader to earning a $180,000 bonus. And then that same month earning another $40,000 bonus under my fiance, to where we brought home $220,000 in 1 month, the same month I gave birth. It is a mindset control. When you flip that switch to, I can't do it, to watch me do it, everything changes. 6 months after that, I hit 200K, and last month my fiance hit 80K in the company. And let me tell you, when I say I was not working my fiance's account before that, I wasn't working it. That is residual. That is because I put in the effort into that. So when you tell that Karen, when they're in your head, and I'm going to wrap it up. I'm sorry, Jordan. I know I got gift for gab, but when it's in your head and you say, I can't do this, you're going to believe it. Your actions are going to match that. So when you go to your leader and you say, how is she doing this? What is she doing? How this, how, what? Instead of doing that, I want you to watch what she's doing and then apply it to you. Don't copy it, but apply it to you, because you're not comparing chapters. You're comparing dang books. And I want to tell you, every single person in here has their own book, right? And a lot of times you can compare chapters and like yada, 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 but some of y'all are full on comparing books. And I want to tell you, you got to stop that. If you're going to compare your book to my book, honey, we're all going to drown. Because my book has my story. It's not just about chapters at this point. It's, what is your book? You are still writing it. But if you're not in those pages and you're not in your book and you're too worried about my book, your book's going to be real blank and you're not even going to have chapters to compare it to. So I want you to switch it. When you're like, what is she doing? How is she doing it? Watch what she's doing. Watch how she's doing it. Our team page is full of trainings. We do step by step. I spelled out my fives list. I spelled out IPAs for you guys. When I tell you that's literally what I do every day, that is what I do every day. But let me ask you, if you come to me and you say, well, what are your IPAs? It's the same every single day. We do work with me Zooms, right? Every morning this week we have them. But the difference is, when we say follow, are you following 5 people when I'm following 100? It's what you're doing with it. You got to put in the action behind it, because otherwise it's just words and you're going to believe it. So I think I talked too long and I apologize, but I'm going to leave it at that and pass it off to Em before I just keep going, because gifted the gab. So sorry.
You are fine. Okay, I'm going to end us off here. I'm not going to make it super long, but I just want to pour this into you, what is on my heart. I'm supposed to introduce myself and say my credentials, which makes me very nervous because I don't like talking about this stuff. And I'm going to compare it to why this feels odd to say stuff like this. I am one of your 200K leaders, and I went 200K within 5 months of joining. And back in March, February, I became our company's youngest millionaire. And I want to say that because I believe that when those words are spoken, thoughts automatically hit your head, right? The self-doubt, the nervousness, how is that possible, right? How does that happen? Oh, that happened because of X, Y, and Z, this and that. Guys, I struggle with the same things every single day that you do. I have the same self-doubt every single day that you do. I talk negatively to myself every single day like you do. And I think that when I started in this industry, I thought that when you hit a certain rank or when you promoted to a certain rank, like it was this arrival point where like all this weight came off your shoulders and you hit this point and you're like, okay, right? Like I get it. Like all that negativity in my head goes away. All those worries in my head go away. You think that you arrive, and guys, you don't. You don't arrive. Just to clue you in, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I am doing. The only difference is that I show up anyways. And I keep coming here every single day anyways. And I remember the night that I went 200K, I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh, nothing's different. I was like, nothing changes, right? You're still you, sitting at home with your same insecurities, your same doubts, the same problems that you've been ignoring and pushing away, the same everything, right? it doesn't just go away. You don't hit this arrival point. And I think that you're so focused on that sometimes, where if I can hit this, or I can reach this, or I can do this, or I can accomplish this, or enroll this many people, it's going to fix all these other things. And it doesn't. It doesn't fix them, but you have to learn how to cope with them and how to face them and how to lean into them. And that's why if somebody said, like, what is the best advice you could ever give? It's what Brittany said before. You have to be comfortable with being very freaking uncomfortable. And that is what I can say has been the one constant throughout every single month, every single week, even since I joined this company, is that I have had to face challenge after challenge after challenge and growth and this. And it's like you're standing in a field and like footballs are flying at your head and you're just trying to do the best that you can, right? And you're just trying to figure it out. But I just didn't lay down and take it, right? That's the biggest thing, is that you're going to have those voices in your head every single day. You're going to tell yourself that you're not good enough. Yes, dodgeball is a better reference than a football. I don't know why footballs would be flying at you. You're going to tell yourself that you're not capable, right? You're going to have those insecurities. Guys, I wake up most days and I'm not happy with my body. I'm not happy with my social media. I'm not happy with X, Y, and Z, right? I'm insecure. I'm nervous. I worry about things. Guys, I am like the least confrontational person you'll ever meet. I am constantly petrified that somebody's mad at me. Literally, if you don't text me back in 2 minutes, I probably have diarrhea. I'm probably so nervous that I think that like I did something wrong and you're never going to talk to me again. Guys, I get so nervous because I'm human, and hitting a rank or earning an award or making a certain amount of money, it doesn't make you unhuman. What allows you to go through these ranks, what allows you to grow, is that you stop bowing down to them, right? You stop allowing them to control it. And I think, that, like I said, you think that they go away. You have to take that out of your head and instead say, okay, this is just going to disappear one day. What can I do on a daily basis to combat it? Right. And the one thing that I always say over and over and over to myself, and this might sound so silly, but I say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right. That negative thought, it doesn't matter. Comparing yourself to that person doesn't. You think I don't compare myself? Right. About the amount of enrollments that somebody has or a different 200K leader in the company. Right. You think I don't do that? Of course I do. Right. I just say to myself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And this is what I always say, put your phone down, put it face down. Look up in your house, look at your husband, look at your boyfriend, look at your mom, look at your kids, look at whoever. That's what matters, right? That is why you are here. Whether you're in this business or not, you're going to have that mental chatter. You're going to beat yourself up every day. It's going to happen. It's not going to go away, but you learn ways to combat it, ways to say, nope, it doesn't matter. Right? If you want to name it like Lindsay does, if you want to tell it to shut up like Jen does, like whatever you have to do, it's the recognizing it and saying, okay, let me speak truth over that and shut that down. That's the only difference between people that sit down and never pick their dreams back up again and people that succeed, is that you have to just face it and keep going. So instead of letting it debilitate you and letting it stop you because you think you're not good enough or worthy enough or this and that, there's a 200K sitting in front of you that thinks those same things, but she just showed up another day instead, right? So tell yourself that I am normal and I am human. And that's my goal from this Zoom that Jordan organized, is that I hope that you know that everything you feel is so normal. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not less than. You do not have some crazy, insecurity or this and that or doubt in yourself that we do not all have. I promise you, I felt it and I feel it every single day, and we all do it, but you choose to show up instead. You choose to keep going instead because your dreams are worth it. And whether you're doing this or you're not doing this, that negative voice is going to be in your head. So you better keep going, right? Because what's the opposite going to do for you? So that's what I hope that you can take from this, is that looking at women at every single levels of their business and every single levels of their life that they're pushing through this growth. It's not that we are immune to it. It's not that we don't feel it. It's that we recognize it. We say, okay, I'm going to get my shit together for a minute. I'm going to think about this. I'm going to speak truth over this. I'm not going to let it debilitate me, right? Think about if it was somebody, mean sitting in front of you saying it to you. What are you going to do, right? I hope that you stand up, you tell them to shut up, and you walk away. Not that you sit there and cry and let them talk negatively about you, right? Stand up, shut up, and you walk away, and then you keep going because your dreams are worth it. So I hope that this normalizes the conversation, that whether this is day one or this is year 2 in your business, We all feel the same exact thing. So stop letting that cripple you. Lean into this community, lean into recognizing what you're hearing and combating it instead of letting it cripple you. So I know we went really long. I'm so sorry, Jordan. She set timers. I didn't set a timer. So I'm going to let her close this out, and then I will upload it after.
You are fine. Can we just, everybody clap their hands right now? I know that you can't hear each other, but thank you. Woo, holy buckets. Okay, so that was incredible. And the reason, because if y'all are super, super new, here's the deal. That might have seemed super intense, but you joined because you see their money, and you joined because you see their success. So I think it's important to see behind the scenes 1,000%, because you don't join for willy-nilly. You join for a reason. So I hope that your hearts are like, I want everyone to just, like a big weight off of your heart. And for new team members that are watching this later on, for people that are on now that, you know, whatever's going on, just take a deep breath in. And instead of those thoughts sending you running away, which in normal jobs, they don't, because you're just like kind of locked in. But in this one, you can step away very easily. So instead of that, I hope you stomp them out and say, you know, the force is knowing that it's not just you. The only box that exists is the one that we put around ourselves. We set our life limits, and we live in that box that we make for ourselves too often. And I mean, on the GOAT Live, we had this guy that was like homeless. Rodney, is that his name? Yes, shake. Okay. So he's 200K. So y'all, if you're sitting in a home watching this, you're past where he was. If you have a car or a vehicle, transportation, you're past where he was when he started. If you have Wi-Fi in your house, he was in Starbucks using Wi-Fi. Okay, so I'm sorry, but like, if you want to change your life, you're gonna make it happen. If you don't, you're gonna make excuses. Homeboy didn't have a house, a car, or Wi-Fi, and he just got the products in people's body because they work, because it's true. Because you have a company that backs you up, because you have a tribe that backs you up, because you have products that work, because you have a body that's working now. Okay, so whatever trash that you're telling yourself that's holding you back from this peace, and when I say a piece of diving in, I mean like a piece where you can look at your tracker, and instead of wanting to punch it in the face, you're like, okay, this is just part of the business. You know, whatever the number is over here, it's not going to cause anxiety. It's just a part of it, right? And numbers are a part of sales and business. It's just what it is. But you don't have to have that anxiety and that weight, and like whatever trash you're telling yourself, dump it. Give yourself that peace. Start practicing those healthy habits, because they don't just happen. The power of thinking literally happens because you practice it daily, because you fail at it daily, because you take it and you fail in situations daily. And that's what I want you guys to know, is that we're here to help you build a better you, not just a better business person, but like a better person in general, someone that like handles life better. And, you know, I always tell people, if this isn't for you, or if you have to step away or whatever, if we were a positive puzzle piece in that journey of you finding yourself, of you finding where you're supposed to be, of you coming back, we did our damn job, right? Because when you care about more than just like throwing a product at someone, it becomes a lot bigger. And so I just want y'all to feel like just such a deep breath and like relief over anything that you've been anxiety ridden over anything that you've been telling yourself, over any of those struggles that you've been having. Thank you for everybody that just spoke. And Em is gonna upload this, but we still have one more day. I fucking killed it today. Okay, so you have another day. I'm just saying, do not put limits on yourself. I had no idea what was going to happen today. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, well, would you look at that? I'm closer than I was ever. So what I want y'all to know, you have an entire 24 hours. It's 10 here, so I'm going to bed. But you guys have an entire day. Make it happen. Go live if you haven't gone live. Show your passion. Do something different. Make it fresh. Catch that audience. And then let's start May with momentum. Not a 0, but freaking momentum. So thank you, Em, for letting me do this. I love y'all.